Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Dream Huge podcast hosted by JP, John Pavlansky. JP for three. Turn your key with John Pavlansky. How you doing, JP?
I am doing excellent today, Pete. Man, I'm excited to talk with our guest today, and as always, just a great day. It's a beautiful day out there, sunny day. Gotta love it. How are you doing today, Pete?
Good, man. Myself, Pete Peterson, doing amazing as always. Folks, contact JP for all your real estate needs, buying, selling, leasing, residential, commercial, investing. He is a rock star real estate agent, and he killed it again last month, over $1 million in sales once again. So appreciate you very much, JP. We have my very special guest, folks. We don't always talk real estate. We love talking with other movers, shakers, influencers, entrepreneurs. We have Alex Fichera. He is a former pro athlete, soccer player. We're going to dive into that. He's also the author of The Business Athlete, speaker, business coach, leadership training specialist, helping build high performance cultures, teams, and leaders, folks. And we had some great conversations already. So can't wait to dive in
Yeah,
to what you have to offer, Alex. So tell us a little bit about yourself and what it is you're currently doing.
man, that is a loaded question. We don't have all the time for that, but I'll cut right to it. I appreciate it, Pete. John, good to see you. Thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, Alex Fichera, former pro athlete, but much more than that. That was sort of the foundation of the things I would get into later on in my life. But what a foundation it was. And just now that I get to kind of take all those lessons, insights, observations from all those grueling years of competing at very, very, very high levels, I get now to share some of those strategies, some of those tactics, some of those things that allowed me to outpace others, to remain focused, to have limitless energy, and just achieve all the success that I saw myself achieving. So, it's uh, that was the transition, though. I also love people. I have a degree in anthropology. And so I took that with my business acumen and just started working with companies, top to bottom, left to right, big to small, working with every shape and size of a leader that there possibly is. And it's just where I like to be. I like to be a part of their journeys and hear what people are looking to achieve and find ways that I can serve and add value to their path. So great to be here.
Excellent. So you mentioned the foundation began pretty much from being a pro athlete, and those lessons you learned from professional athletics. You took those lessons into your business career. So let's talk about the professional athlete career
Cool.
for a second, if you don't mind. Just run us through that. We don't have professional athletes on here every day. We've had a few, but
Cool.
run us through that and tell us your experience there.
Right on. So I'll give it to you and in that realm of professional athletes, it's always good for a professional athlete to give a caveat and explain sort of their path because while we have some similarities, mine is much more different. There were players who excelled far beyond me, got way more minutes, played in way more matches, but there is a group of us who are always, training what we think is harder than those those guys. Putting in all the time, working 2 and 3 jobs to help support our nutrition, our additional coaches, our equipment, our travel, and then to go from team to team looking for, traveling up and down, different countries, trying to find a place to fit in, a culture, a group, a team, an organization that sees your value, and you want to go and do that in there. And it's grueling. It's a lonely path. But that's like leadership is too. A lot of times, I mean, leadership is, you're on your own. I've got countless stories of where I had to train in grueling temperatures and conditions on my own. Somehow I had to wake up with that sort of motivation and fire day after day to continue to put it in. But it's a tough one, but it's so rewarding because I get to speak about it now only because I did way more reps at that time in my life. It was like an incubator for all the things we expect out of those we work with today. Teamwork, collaboration, communication, how to deal with setbacks, how to, be a gracious winner, all those things. I was just doing reps and reps and reps every day from a young age. So, um, that's what I like to bring back, is that there is a process, but nothing short of effort is what's required. So, as I always say, there are people who like to think and talk, and then there are people who like to do. The doers are the ones that end up making it.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir. And I love what you just said too, Alex, about taking your experiences from the professional soccer standpoint into the business aspect and the coaching aspect. That's huge. And I tell a lot of people that, especially I went and talked to the high school this year and explained that to them. You can find out of every experience you have, you can find something that's going to take you and help you in your next career and in your next path. So that's awesome, man. I love to hear that.
It's
Where exactly did you play too?
Yeah, so I'll give you a couple of locations and then some position, because I think embedded in that question was probably a positional question on that one. So I played a little stint here in my. I'm just north of Dallas in Texas, so surviving the heat as we do here. But played a little bit for our home club here, FC Dallas. Played over in England and in Iceland, probably 6 or 7 clubs up and down England. I mean, yeah, to be a young, vulnerable kid and told you're no good, pack your bags, you stupid yank, go back home. I mean, these are tough things for, kids to deal with and to pick up their boots and keep going. But maybe I just enjoy the punishment. But, clubs like Millwall, Peterborough, Reading, went over to Iceland, played in, an island off the island of Iceland. I mean, you want to talk about just like different worlds and cultures. It was really the sport brought me into my love for people, having to be around all these different organizations and cultures and, just diversity. I mean, like, there's a big, like, you're just immersed in this world and you have no option to either adapt to it or die. And so this ability to adapt, remain flexible is just built into you over time. So, um,
Yeah,
but
that's the thing. This is why you're a great guest. I can tell you right now, because he is literally dreaming huge. He's chasing the dream. He's dreaming huge. He's like, I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to go play wherever it is. I'm going to grind it out. I'm going to work twice as hard as everybody else when they're telling me I can't make it, and I'm going to continue to grind. And how many years in total was that career?
here's where I think you're gonna you're gonna chuckle. So since the age of 12, I was in a system of where they're at 12, they tell you, look, this isn't for you or not. Now, of course, there's people that go on and come back into it, but there is a line and they told you that. So up until 24, 25, I was into the system. But it wasn't until I was early 20s. I mean, I didn't have a long career. I didn't play a whole lot of matches. I spent a lot of time, warming up and trying to get on there. Grueling practice sessions, got in a few matches, but so like,
You put in all the hard work, but not very much of the glory, in other words.
but that's just it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if
Hmm.
the vision wasn't to be my vision and goal wasn't to be the best of all time playing. It was a little bit more realistic as you go through it and you see where you can fit and how to use this as a reflection. And so, yeah, a lot of time, not big results. So when you ask about being a professional athlete, yeah, there's not I mean, it's I'm actually getting more from it now than I did when I was playing it. It's like people are
Absolutely.
always interested in, wanting to talk to a soccer player. It's like, oh, I tell my son and I tell other kids, be careful about going into sports as your profession. It is not for the faint of heart, but
Mhm.
Yeah.
you can be so good. You can take those lessons and be so good at other things. I mean, John, like you were talking, that the the transferring of your experiences into your current reality is so important, and Pete, you just talked, think big, but you have to operate small. You have to operate in a process one step at a time. You can think big, but you have to come back and execute small, because if you can't do it on one step, then you can't take a second and a third step. And so what I found, John, is that sports, similarly like the military, there is a natural connection to a large, broad spectrum of people. You know what I mean? So, like, what I tell people in organizations who are trying to rally teams and leaders and groups, it's like, don't make it hard trying to connect with your people. Connect with them in something that we already know from the data, like 80% of them already have an inkling towards sports or something like that. So
Mhm.
build relationships from something that is natural, that's already there, and then use that, right? Like use what you're good at to go get even better. That's what I would say.
Yeah, no, that's great stuff. So that athletic career is still paying you dividends to this day.
Oh yeah.
Um, and I think, that would serve us all well, in experiencing something like that. I think the average NFL career I've read somewhere is 2 years. But think about the lessons, the discipline, the leadership, the work ethic that you break out of those 2 years, and to carry that with you for the rest of your life.
No.
The secret to your success, to your future success, lies within your daily routine, and that teaches you to be disciplined, and like you said, work towards the bigger goal. So, and then you parlay that into, and I wanted to touch on this. I don't know if you plan on talking about it or not, but a golf academy and club.
Yeah. Yeah. So sports themed, right? It's like, exactly. If you're good at something, keep it going. And I have just been blessed with some awesome opportunities to work with people. Honestly, I get giddy sometimes. Sometimes you think, am I just lucky tripping into this stuff? But you come to find out with things like routines and processes, it's not always luck. Sometimes you are really setting yourself up for success when you do these little things. But my father was a brilliant guy, venture capitalist, entrepreneur, probably one of the smartest guys I know. Had this idea to go talk with a casino, another nation. So you want to talk about cultures? This was a they're called the Chickasaw Nation. So it was a Native American, and when you go in there, it's different rules. It's not like the United States. I mean, they operate by their own sort of system and everything, and so you got to adapt. He saw them having an asset that was sitting there that was just, it was paid for, but it was generating no revenue. He met with Sandra Haney, who is an LPGA and World Hall of Fame golfer. She, at her age, could still kill me in golf. Like she's that good. And brought me in to bring in some of the marketing, branding, and some of the membership stuff. And we built out this world-class academy and golf club that just brought in the best golfers. Of course, it drove casino revenue. That was the main thing. But when you go ahead and you're driving revenue for people, they let you do all the fun stuff too. So we got to host, build Long Drivers of America, Major League Baseball. You see the Mavericks and FC Dallas, whole tournaments and do stuff. And in that, we got to coach them, right? We got to use, that's where I was starting to get, I bridged into coaching and leadership and doing that stuff. Was I kept saying, you had these business people coming up from the city and they wanted to go game, but they also wanted to play and everything like that. And they wanted to talk sports. And then they were always relating their business issues, their challenges, quoting sports athletes. Like the tie was just too much to pass up. And I'm just thinking like, man, I feel so natural and cool in this environment. I should go explore this more. And so I did.
Yeah, so that ties all together to the title of the book, The Business Athlete.
Boom.
So tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about your book.
I feel like maybe you and John know a little bit about it already somehow, because just the way you're hearing some of the things, like when we talked about having a routine as being that sort of basic. I mean, that is really, the book is titled, The Business Athlete, a guide to build, sharpening your mindset, managing your energy, and elevating your career. So the two core concepts are that if you manage your energy effectively and you focus on building a good personal brand, things are going to reveal themselves, right? So let's just start with some of the basics, that if we want to go and succeed and do things, we have to have the energy to do it. Most people right now are frustrated and stressed out and just really are trying to look, yeah, I mean, everybody is, right? And as athletes, we all the time, I was stressed, anxiety, stress, frustrated all the time. But it's not an excuse not to have the energy to go and keep moving and keep building and keep pushing forward. So what we knew how to do was, how do we stretch ourselves to the point of exhaustion? Almost like in a gym, you have to, break muscle to build muscle. So how do you stretch to exhaustion? But how do you then create routines of where you regain your energy so you can get back quicker? You can regain and go and go and go. If all you do is just stretch, that's burnout. And that's where most people are. So We have enough data, we have enough science. People talk about, it's time management. No, it's your priorities. It's really about your energy. If you have the energy to do it, most people are going to do it. And we really just need to get out of our own way. We're a little too busy, a little too loud. If you get out of your own way, I promise you a lot of things become very clear for you. And you don't need to go seeking a million different things outside of yourself. The answers are within you. Let's work on kind of moving things out of your way so you can see it. So that's the concept. And in energy management, we work on building routines in the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual sort of dynamics of a person. So we're looking at leaders holistically. Gone are the days where only knowledge is going to work. Hey, great methods or models or theories about this form of leadership. Those are all great, but there's no action. So we need to engage below the neck, and that's where I would tell people, start with the physical energy side of it, right? We have to get those things right. Hydration, rest, proper fuel in your body, optimizing your brain, making sure that you're building new neuron connections and things like that. So that's one part of the book where we go into, and I help others create an energy management plan, right? So, you can do this because organizations and businesses or your teams are just a larger extension of an individual. If you can prove it up on your individual, like unit-based economics, then you can replicate it to your team, to your organization. Now you have a culture living and breathing their best. And I always say, when people are at their best, they produce their best work. That's never failed. So the second part of it is what we learned when you step up into being a professional athlete, it's a little bit different, and you have to take it different because now you're being sought after as an investment. People see you as a value, and if you don't see yourself as valuable at that point, this is where you go one direction and others go. So we learn very, very on about the value we bring to the table, how to position that value, how to share that value, and how to elevate that value. And the way you elevate your value is not what you think. Most people think, well, you just got to, play better, or, hey, you got to show up to work better, right? Do better stuff at work. When actually it's the off-field performance that dictates the quality of the on-field performance. So as athletes, we work with people on building their personal brand, their off-field performance, right? What is is your social media account, is it a drag, or is it a catalyst for you going forward, right? How, are you engaged in the communities that you need to be to put your brand forward? Are you giving back to your communities? Like, we know a lot of these like KPIs that need to be hit. And so we just work with people, and this book helps them start to see those areas and make just small movements in each of them. So sorry, that's a bit of a long-winded answer, but I hope it kind of encapsulated it so we can chat about some really cool stuff.
Yeah, excellent. No, manage that energy, and not only your own energy, but that entire team's energy, everyone's, the entire corporation's energy. It all starts with you, and managing it properly, and building it up, and tearing it down, and resting it properly. And I love that, what you said, everyone performs their best when they are physically at their best, dude. Yeah. Yep.
And
Yep. I never come in here all hungover and had a great day.
Yeah. I've never,
it never works. So
yeah.
that's why I quit doing that.
You can still produce. I'm just saying your best.
Correct. Yeah, man. Hey, I didn't wake up to be average. I woke up to be the best.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I had a question about that too, Alex, with the energy side of things. Do you think, and this is more of just like a kind of your opinion-based question for you, do you think that energy lasts, or is it more important with the mind, just telling yourself, I'm going to do it, rather than actually having it there? Or is it more, like you said, having your rest, eating right, having the right nutrition, having the water? Because sometimes I feel like I just got to tell myself, oh, I'm so tired. I feel so tired. No, you're not tired. You're going to get after it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just a feeling in my mind where I just have to tell myself the opposite.
You're no, it's not a it's not really an opinion question, because you're actually just building on what I would say is, now you're touching into that emotional sort of energy area, right? Where we talk about, because you're a multidimensional person, right? So your physical energy is just one thing, but your emotional energy is really about your internal climate. And sometimes that internal climate, we know with emotions, can drag us into some really bad places, right? And can start talking to yourself. That's where we work a lot with. People don't understand. For anybody out there who's having a tough time right now, just pause and listen to the way that you're talking to yourself, and ask yourself if that's how you would want someone to talk to you. Most people will say, no, you know what? Start there. You adjust your internal climate, like you said. That's a great place to just, that's where most mistakes happen, is because we're not managing our emotional energy. Using things like music and things like that to really get us. Kobe Bryant did it a lot to get into his mode, who he wanted to be. It's like, who do I have to be today? But you are correct in that we have to build a sort of resiliency in the mind, and that comes with confidence, step by step. So, like, the spiritual energy is the toughest one to work in, because all the stuff gets kicked up in that one, but that is where your source of real power is. I'll give you a short story with that. I grew up a very good life. I had a lot of access to things. I had a great family, and great coaches around me, equipment and everything. And that's not a problem, but I originally resented it a little bit, because I get into locker rooms and I'm up against men with families and children from third world countries that are looking at this as their opportunity to make it and make it out for their families. I'm like this white boy from like Florida with all this stuff. Like, honestly, you would think on paper, like, that dude's got no chance. Where's he getting the motivation to go up against that dude, right? Like, so hunger, right? Hunger needs to be found, and that finding your hunger is not an easy deal. And people think you just come out of it like, I can just sit there and find what motivates me. You might find something that motivates you to get off the couch and go for a walk, but the motivation to accomplish, to go grab your goals, to see a vision, to go look at somebody else and say, my motivation is stronger than yours. I mean, that takes time, that takes reflection, that takes facing like parts of yourself that you may not be ready for. So while you can get there, and that's fuel, we have to start with what's going to build confidence so we can get into that space. So start with the physical, That's it.
Let's
Baby,
go, baby!
go.
Fired up.
Oh, that's gonna be an Instagram reel right there, baby. Chop that one up. That was
So what got you going, Alex? I mean, what was your thing?
Yeah. Well, what got me going was not to resent it, to actually honor it and be grateful for it. Because here I was resenting what so many people before me, my parents, my coaches, my other family, people who let me go and do this or gave me a break on this, right? Like, they all put something towards me, and I'm sitting here just accepting it all, not really grateful of it. And it's sort of like, you don't have to dismiss coming from somewhere good or having things good happen to you. But if you're not grateful, then you don't really know the power that those things hold. You're not able to return those gifts back to others, right? And that is, for me, that is life. I mean, I don't want to just be a taker. I want to go and I want to give back as well. So you
Yep.
have to really understand things at their core to be able, you can't give something you haven't received. You have to understand what you've received so that you can go and then start giving it to others,
love that.
Love it, dude.
Love that. That's the truth. That is the absolute truth, man.
That's it. That's it. But everybody can attain. That's the thing. Everybody can do it. And I really do mean it that, humans are very interesting. We do a lot of stuff to get in our own way. And, we really just need, there's a space between thoughts, believe it or not. And we really just need to expand that space, allow ourselves to breathe a little bit. Most of our solutions, we know. It's just we haven't read the manual of how to understand the messaging. You know what I mean? It's like, we've got all the signals, it's coming through. It's just we're not like fluent. So that's all it is building a fluency physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually with yourself. When you build that fluency, as Tony Montana would say, the world is yours.
Yep. The
Hell
world is
yes,
yours,
man.
baby.
Hell yes. And that's the truth, what you just said too. Every single person knows what they should be doing. Everybody
Yeah.
knows what they should be doing. But it's the difference between success and non-success is the people that actually do it, man.
That's it. That's it.
Take
So
action. Be a
so
doer, not a stayer.
so we've talked the sports. We've talked how it's moved into your next career. What's next for you, Alex? What's next, and how are you continuing to grow and build going forward too?
That's a great question, John. A little bit of me is getting into some of your neck of the woods too. Some property stuff is definitely up my. So where I'm at in my neck of the woods is, we're going to be chatting offline. Definitely, I'm going to be, hitting you up because I've been watching some of your stuff. I'm like, all right, so you got me, Next thing for me is I want to take it up one tier from where I'm currently at, and I want to get more involved. So now we've built out. We've got an investment company now that we're looking to help go and be a different level with companies. Get in there, help them. Most companies don't make it because they don't know how to manage people, and that's really what it is: managing people and setting it up. So having a strategy, having the right managers in place. So we want to go and start getting in with companies, manage, scale them, looking to do some acquisitions, things like that. So just that's what's pushing me forward, right? Like that's a vision I had to. It's like like if I said, hey, I was a professional soccer player and I wrote a book and that was it, right? And it's like that's pretty boring. Like that something doesn't add up. No, what's still going forward? The further you get down the road, the margins get so small. That's why you have to build a practice of quieting yourself and listening yourself to find out the direction that's going to propel me further than when I am now. Is like that's tough to find. You really you spend some time, sit in there, find out where you're at, what makes sense. The world has changed, and look at it. So, I want to work more with companies, help other, companies scale, grow, sell, do that sort of stuff. So, but I get to use all this great stuff that I've used in sort of coaching and leadership and training. And like, that's a bonus now. I come in there, it's like the people problems are not problems for me. Those are opportunities I enjoy stepping into. So,
Love it, man.
yeah.
So, how can folks get a hold of you? What's the best way to follow you or contact you?
Best way. If they want a copy of the book, Amazon is the best place to get it, The Business Athlete. But I am across the social medias. I'm trying to build up my TikTok and my Instagram. So you can check me out on TikTok at BizAthlete.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is just there as you see it, my name, at Alexander_Fichera.
Good.
But of course, if that's where I just get to do a lot of posting of some fun, different mediums and content I like to do. I put it on LinkedIn too. But if anybody out there's got questions, you want to connect, you want to talk more or anything, hit me up on any of them. That's the best way to get a hold of me. It's funny. Social media is like the net. That is like the social square now. You're in it every day. Checking, seeing who's there. So.
Oh yeah.
Love it. Hey, man, we're pushing up on 30 minutes. Is there any final thoughts? Anything else you want to touch on?
Man, we hit it. Just thank you guys for honestly creating the space that allows us to do this, push people forward. You guys are awesome. Congratulations on all the success, right? Like, obviously, you guys are taking the steps and you're doers. So you are a demonstration of exactly what we're talking about. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope we can continue offline and just keep the conversation going.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Alex.
Man. It was a pleasure speaking with you, and definitely looking forward to this one dropping. I just shot you a follow, so I'm sure we'll be talking some real estate here soon too, my man.
Good stuff. Good motivational stuff. Good inspirational stuff. Thank you for the content, man. Alex, great stuff, man. Thank you. Such an awesome guest. Former pro athlete, author of The Business Athlete. You can find that on Amazon. Speaker, business coach, leadership training specialist. folks, reach out to Alex on Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of the above. Appreciate you very much, man. Thank you for watching and listening, everybody. And please like, subscribe, and share. And as always, remember the rules, baby. Work hard, never give up, and dream huge. Boom. Let's see the guns, Alex. Boom.
Yeah.
All day.